Welcome to Misshell, a place where we dive deep into the dark and twisted world of female true crime. Grab a cup of tea and prepare to be shocked and intrigued by these amazing cases.
Prepare yourselves for a journey into the shadowy depths of history, where the line between poison and salvation blurs. Today, we're delving into the arcane tale of Giulia Tofana, a woman whose cunning and lethal expertise made her one of the most famous poisoners out there. Buckle up, because this story is as dark as it gets. Before we begin, and as your tea is getting ready, let's give this murderess the Aconite flower, which represents hope, rebirth, and new beginnings to some people. The second and most important characteristic is the danger they pose to people and animals. The flowers, the stem, the leaves, the roots. Every part is highly toxic for people. Just touching it can have nasty side effects. The symptoms of poisoning from this plant carry some resemblance to how rabies affects various canine species. As little as 2 milligrams of aconite is enough to kill an average human. I believe no better flower would fit the personality of Giulia Tofana, considering she may be responsible for the deaths of over 600 men in Italy during the 17th century. Despite that, she is considered an empathetic hero in history who helped hundreds of desperate women escape their marriages. What makes a woman turn to poison? Well, let's start from the beginning. Picture this. 17th century Italy, a time when arranged marriages were the norm, and women often found themselves trapped in abusive relationships. As things usually go in life, every problem requires a solution. However, as the peaceful pathway of parting ways with a husband wasn't an option, more drastic ways of escape emerged. Enter the scene, Giulia Tofana, an apothecary with a secret. Who was this captivating soul? And what sinister secrets did she hold? Born into a world devoid of opportunity for women, Giulia Tofana was no ordinary lady. She was cunning, resourceful, and determined to carve out a better life for herself and her fellow oppressed sisters. Born in 1620 to the infamous Tofania D'Amato, Giulia inherited a legacy steeped in mystery. Her mother, executed for spousal homicide, is rumoured to have passed down the recipe for a potent poison. Yet, Giulia's ingenuity in crafting elixirs extended far beyond her mother's secrets. Palermo, the stage for her origin, witnessed the rise of a woman determined to reshape her destiny. This lethal elixir became the desperate plea for freedom for countless oppressed women. But what exactly was this poison? Aqua Tofana was a coveted face cream or oil used by Italian ladies looking to preserve their youth or procure a status of widowhood. It came in a bottle or a powder case, often labelled as Manna of St. Nicholas of Bari, a popular healing ointment for blemishes. Made of a mixture of lead, arsenic and belladonna, Aqua Tofana contained some of the same ingredients as normal cosmetics at the time, which helped it to blend in on a woman's nightstand or vanity. It's sinister to think that a wife's beauty regimen could mean the death of a husband. Giulia's poison was undetectable when mixed with a drink, allowing countless women to end their misery without arousing suspicion. But how did she operate without getting caught? Well, she didn't work alone. She had a network of confidants and allies. These women, victims of circumstance like their clients, helped distribute the poison discreetly. Under the roof of a small boutique, Giulia distributed her deadly potion under the guise of cosmetics, promising beauty, youth, and liberation. This underground trade fueled her success, making her a legend among the desperate. I know what you're thinking. All right, so she killed some men. What's such a big deal about this poison? I must tell you that it came with very clever effects. A maximum of 3 doses were needed. The first dose, normally diluted with some kind of liquid, would cause exhaustion and physical weakness. The second dose would bring on stomach aches, vomiting and dysentery. The third or fourth dose would take care of the rest. The poison and the method of administering it meant that doctors and investigators believed the death had been caused by some unknown illness or disease. The slow nature of the poisoning meant that victims had a chance to get their affairs in order, and their wives were there to exert their influence over what that order looked like. And the deaths, those tragically young lives lost to their sickbeds, were never believed to be anything more. Was Giulia Tofana a serial killer? She likely didn't think of herself in those terms. No. To Tofana, she simply provided a service. Her customers decided whether to use her potions or not. But as the old saying goes, the bigger the secret, the harder it falls. Giulia Tofana also lost her life, thanks to a client who got cold feet. In 1650, a bowl of soup landed Giulia Tofana on the chopping block. One woman dosed her husband's soup with Aqua Tofana, but she cried out as he raised a spoonful to his mouth. The suspicious husband turned on his wife, beating her until she confessed that she'd poisoned the food. The woman eventually pointed the finger at Giulia Tofana after Roman authorities tortured her. Tofana tried to escape. She sought sanctuary in a church, yet rumours swirled that the poisoner had turned her skills against the entire city, dropping her concoctions into the public water supply. Tofana and her apprentices were executed in Rome, or at least that's how the story goes. Some historians point out that Giulia Tofana died in her sleep in 1651, with no one aware of her poisoning activities. After her death, her stepdaughter, Gironima Spana, took over her business. Gironima Spana was described as intelligent, self-assured and confident. She was an astrologer of note in Rome, where she was engaged to predict the future and find missing objects by aristocratic clients. It is noted that she behaved and dressed in a manner that made her acceptable in the salons of the aristocracy. And it is mentioned that she often travelled around Rome in carriages borrowed from her aristocratic friends. The poison business was exposed to the papal authorities with the arrest of one of Spana's poison sellers, Giovanna de Grandis, who was arrested in flagrante in 1659 and imprisoned at the Tor di Nona, where she named Gironima Spana during the interrogations. During her arrest and interrogation, Gironima denied all accusations and stood by her denial for months. She was willing to answer questions and talked a lot, but only provided harmless information such as long, detailed answers of acquaintances, their family history, and residence, but never anything which could be seen as incriminating. She was described as much more resilient than her fellow prisoners. In contrast to them, she did not even talk about her guilt in her confession to a priest. Her lack of confession was a problem, since the law did not permit execution without it. However, on 20th of June, she finally signed a long statement of guilt. Regarding the poison, she stated, "I've given this liquid to more people than I have got hairs on my head." The investigation, the Spana prosecution, continued for several months until March 1660, involving about 40 people accused of having sold or used the poison, with Gironima Spana and 4 of her female business associates, Giovanna de Grandis, Maria Spinola, Graziosa Farina and Laura Crispoldi, executed at the Campo de' Fiori in Rome on 5th July 1659. Was Giulia Tofana a hero or a villain? Her story does not fall easily into either category. Tofana sold poisons, yet she almost certainly saved lives as well. And there you have it, the chilling story of Giulia Tofana, a woman who blurred the line between saviour and murderer. Her tale reminds us of the desperation that can drive people to unthinkable lengths and the darkness that can reside in even the most unexpected corners of history. If you enjoyed this dive into the macabre, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more intriguing stories from the depths of the human experience.